also hosting the channel, The Maddening. And I'm gonna run some new plays I put into my Texans playbook because of the addition of Deshaun Watson, while talking about Bill O'Brien being a quarterback guru, and I seriously question that. And I question that because when he first came to the Texans, he had Ryan Fitzpatrick as his quarterback, and he did pretty good with him. You know, better than I thought he would. He even had a game against the Titans where Fitzgerald threw 6 touchdown passes. I say Fitzgerald, didn't I? Fitzpatrick threw 6 touchdown passes. That's nuts for Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, seriously. But anyway, I guess that might also show how bad the Titans were at the time. But the next year they traded Ryan Fitzpatrick to the Jets. And that following year, Ryan Fitzpatrick had his best year ever, and he said he learned more in 1 year under Bill O'Brien than he did the rest of his career. So that kind of showed to me that, hey, maybe he is a quarterback guru, because back in 2011, he introduced a new style of offense in New England with Tom Brady, with the 2 tight end system, and it was when Gronkowski broke the record for receiving touchdowns for a tight end with 17, and they scored something like 550 points that year, and went to the Super Bowl but lost to the Giants. And I think mainly because Gronk was hurt and they didn't come up with a good game plan to make up for that. But it was good enough what he did with the Patriots, and not afraid to get in the face of Tom Brady, where he ended up getting a head coaching job with Penn State right after the Sandusky issue. And he showed his leadership, and he brought in a guy, Christian Heckenberg, and made the school competitive, didn't let them fall down and just become nothing. He kept them afloat, went to a couple of bowl games, and then obviously got hired by the Texans. In his second year, he was using Brian Hoyer for the majority. Things didn't work out, obviously, with that huge blowout of a game in the playoffs against the Chiefs. And he ends up going to the Bears, and he was playing really well that following year with the Bears until he got hurt. A bit of a surprise, other than the same thing happened with Fitzpatrick. So it was like, hey, maybe he is doing a good job with these quarterbacks. He just doesn't have a good team around these quarterbacks. Or is he overemphasizing not making mistakes? He's getting it too much in their head. Don't throw an interception. Don't make a wrong read. Don't call out the wrong mic. You know, maybe he's getting on him too much about not doing the wrong thing when he should be getting him to focus on doing the right thing in more of a positive angle. This is just speculation, but I was wondering what the issue is. Because these quarterbacks have been doing well when they go to another team, other than Ryan Mallett. That guy just has a shitty attitude. He didn't even like Brian Hoyer coming in to give him competition. He got all butthurt about that. Like, he should just be the starter just because. And I think his attitude is his biggest downfall. But what is it, Case Keenum? He was doing alright, I guess, with what he had in St. Louis and now LA. He had a crappy ass line, and he was still doing pretty well. even getting a couple concussions there. So I was thinking, you know what, O'Brien is a good quarterback coach. Till last year with Brock Osweiler. That was the worst quarterback play that I've watched. So many bad decisions, so many bad throws. The only thing he was good at is calling protection. He seemed pretty good at calling the protection for himself. But making good reads and making good throws, no. It seemed like every time he threw to Hopkins, he threw like shit. He threw 9 of his 16 interceptions while trying to hit Hopkins. But apparently, O'Brien was a bit fed up with Godsey's style of being way too conservative in September of last year, and he tried to change things around in the offense, but I guess it was too late to get that established once the season got going. But apparently that's Godsey's fault because now he's gone. But the interesting thing is that now he's the offensive coordinator for the Jets, where Christian Hackenberg is, when they were both teammates together at Penn State. So we'll see how that works out. Is it really George Godsey that's the issue, or is it O'Brien holding things back? That's what I want to know. Is he holding things back because these people, he's teaching them pretty well, because when they go to other teams they seem to do pretty well, better than most other quarterbacks would, or most people thought that these quarterbacks would do with any other coaching. So Godsey's going to be reunited with Christian Hackenberg, and we get to see, is it really Godsey was the issue, or is it O'Brien holding things back? Because now he's actually taken over the offense full-time in Houston. And now he has a quarterback, Tom Savage, who's been in the system for 3 years, who knows the system, knows the lingo. He has composure. He's not afraid to take a hit to make a throw. He has pretty good arm strength and accuracy. Things he can work on there and work on some decision making, calling out the mic and what have you. But he has that rare trait of composure that you don't get in a lot of quarterbacks that I like about him. It's one of the reasons why I wanted either Jimmy Garoppolo or Tom Savage when the Texans were drafting a quarterback back in, 2014? Because I didn't think they were going to get Derek Carr. Of course I would want him, but I didn't think they were going to get him, so I was like, Jimmy Garoppolo or Tom Savage is who I want them to get. They probably would have got Jimmy Garoppolo in the 3rd round of that year if the Patriots didn't take him at the end of the 2nd, but that's just speculation. But I'm going to show a couple plays after I'm done jibber-jabbering about all this. This one play, the reverse, I'm going to show you a counter for this. Not to play against it, but a counter to help it out once people start picking it up, realize what you're doing. Usually don't like to run it with Hopkins, he's not as fast as Fuller, but it's good to switch it up, especially when they were stacking the other side of the line there. But anyway, I think this is a real test to see if O'Brien really is a quarterback guru, because he's going to have Tom Savage, who's been in the system for 3 years. He has a good, talented team all around him. He has Wes Welker helping out, coaching up the receivers. I mean, he's going to have a little bit of a shaky offensive line unless they get that chemistry down. They're going to have some new faces there. But they're going to bring Nick Martin in. Greg Mance played very well, so I think the interior of the line will do well. I just don't know about both tackles. Especially Dwayne Brown holding out. I don't know how that's going to end up. But, yeah. If it might hold off long enough to get Deshaun Watson ready. I know they kept saying, it's not about when you were drafted or how much money you're making. It's about how well you play and what you can do for the team. But last year we saw that was bullshit with Brock Osweiler. He was making tons of money and he played like shit and they kept him in anyway. Any other quarterback like Ryan Fitzpatrick, Brian Hoyer, Ryan Mallett, Case Keenum, G.J. Yates, Tom Savage, any one of those guys, just a little bit annoyed O'Brien out on the field, pulled. Brock? Nope. Why? Because he made a lot of money. So, I think with the bullshit that they gave, unless they were just some weird plan with Brock to stretch out the year, which seems kind of dumb, especially giving up a second round pick just to get rid of him, which actually might be part of the plan. And you may say, what the fuck are you talking about? But if you look at it, they have to sign back Hopkins and Clowney in the next couple of years. And they're going to need to sign back Fedorowicz, which shouldn't be big money. They're going to have to get some secondary help. And that's going to take up a lot of money. So next year, not having a first or second round pick, you don't have to spend that money on those players, because you have to give them a guaranteed amount of money for being drafted in the spot they're drafted in. So now that you don't have that first or second, it actually saves up some money when you already got a talented team, and it might be actually part of the plan, but that's just wishful thinking. But anyway, with this whole bullshit going on with Brock. Oh, sorry, I got distracted there and lost my train of thought. But I'm trying to remember where I left off. I was talking about Brock Osweiler being kind of a patchwork, and O'Brien needs to show that he can work out with Tom Savage, or else he's gonna look like he's the issue. Like, if he can't work it out and have a good year with Tom Savage, even a decent year, even if it's just to hold off long enough to get Watson ready, and if he doesn't have a good year with Watson, if he ends up coming in start of the season, mid-season, whatever, then it's going to look like he's the issue. It's going to be looking like he's the problem. But, I guess time will tell. I'm hoping he really is a quarterback guru. A lot of signs look at that, but with the whole Brock thing, I can't tell if he was too hard on him, holding things back, or if it really was just an issue. Because an article I read the other day on Toro Times was talking about how O'Brien and Gotze actually were disagreeing on the direction of the offense and how it should be run. And Gotze might actually be the issue. He's a bit conservative. I think they had the second most rush attempts in the past 3 years that O'Brien's been the coach of the Texans, only to the Seattle Seahawks. But I understand that they want to give the defense a rest and keep them fresh so that they can keep beating on other teams' offenses. But I think I jibber-jabbered enough about that, especially with that brain fart near the end there. I'm going to show a couple plays here. If you already seen, I've been running this reverse that I added to my Texans playbook here. I added some plays that I liked from other playbooks I was using, or other plays I seen other people use against me online, and I add them to my playbook. And that was a nice block by Fuller. Drove him right to the ground. So this is not actually in the Texans playbook. This is a custom playbook where it's single back big. And I like single back big because you can flip plays without the defense knowing. Like if you did a run play to the right, you can just audible flip and look. it's flipped and you don't even know because I'm not doing the hand gesture. With it bump and run like this, I probably wouldn't run this reverse because if the linebacker doesn't get in, usually the cornerback is in good position to stop you on the reverse here if he's not blitzing in. But he actually backed up. Was not expecting that, but I usually wouldn't run that. So I got an audible here. Wouldn't fix my audibles, where it's actually a fake reverse and pass. And I really enjoy this play because you can get a big play to Fuller a good chunk of the time. What I end up doing is I send Hopkins on a streak to pull that corner way back, and I re-streak Griffin to kind of straighten him out a bit so he doesn't get too close to Hopkins. And with Fedorowicz, a lot of times I'll leave him as that. Sometimes I'll slant him over the middle. Sometimes I put him in for blocking. But I usually get rid of the ball pretty quick, so it's not a big deal. You can do a lot of different things with Fedorowicz depending on what you want to do, but basically this is the simple setup that I do, and I'll show you what happens. And they actually covered pretty well. Probably should have thrown it to him sooner, but a lot of times, well, I didn't change the play. A lot of times you can get Griffin open right down the middle like they're worried about everybody else. And the number 2 tight end will get just completely wide open. But what I'm really looking for is Fuller. Like them just to not even bother with him. I tried to throw it sooner, but for some reason it wouldn't throw the damn ball. But usually I first watch Griffin to see where the linebacker is, and you can see that he followed him. And I threw the wrong fucking button. I look like an asshole there. I had Fuller wide open. I don't know if you guys saw that. But for some reason it just won't throw the ball when I hit the circle button. Maybe it's just stuck or something. But I watch Griffin, see if he takes that linebacker, and he does. So then I'm throwing the button. Jesus. You can get a big play to Fuller.
Here we go now. Green 39. Green 39.
I can't tell if my button's stuck and my quarterback's not set when I'm trying to throw. Throwing too soon. Usually don't have this problem. And again, there we go. Faked him out. The speed alone is able to get there. This is a nice play to switch things up. So I watch Griffin to see where the linebacker on that outside goes, and it determines where I go with the ball. See, he goes with him, so then I'm hit. Why is it messing up like that? I use another little nice juke move. Might do a video on how to juke. I know a lot of people don't know how to juke this year. See, this is where there's a blitz on that side, so this is kind of a time where I might put Fedorowicz to help block. So I basically watch Griffin. And there's nobody back here. Nice little move. And because of Fuller's speed, if you give him the reverse, he can be gone if you do the pass. I'm trying to show you where they actually are smart and they cover Fuller. They cover in the flat, because when they do, Griffin can get wide open right down the seam right here. Actually covered everything pretty well, except for right there. Probably could have hit Griffin. Usually I wouldn't do that because the quarterbacks fumble so easily in this game, especially when you try to run. Let's watch the linebacker. He's blitzing in, because even if he drops back in coverage, he blitzes in. If he doesn't go to the flat, that corner on the left side, as you can see most of the time, is distracted long enough by Hopkins that you can still get the ball to Fuller. So that's like the main read, is the linebacker on that side. Is he going to the flat or not? Because even if that corner is covering the flat, he's going to get drawn away by Hopkins. I'm trying. I wanna get a play to Griffin here, because a lot of times, especially in cover 3 like this, I've been able to hit him, but what does it matter, right? Especially since I keep getting touchdowns with this. So that reverse works a lot, because when you use that now and then, this play here, the user, oh, I shouldn't have done that corner already right at me. So when that corner's down like that, it's good not to run that play. The user is usually in the middle of the field as a linebacker or safety. He'll start going over there, especially if you get a good gain on it. Wait for the blocking. I couldn't wait that long. And you get a couple gains, and he sees that play coming again, because you're doing the. He sees the motion coming over. Why does he keep going to block? Then he's gonna run over there to Fuller, usually with the middle of the field guy. Again, I'm hitting the button, and he's not throwing. I wonder what the hell's going on here. See, right there, that corner is probably blitzing, so this would be a good time to not run the friggin' reverse. Oh. Alright, I know this is a long video. I already talked about what I'm talking about, but I'll show you a couple of other plays I added to my playbook. Mainly is pistol full panther. I like this formation, and I added it because of triple option here. Now I like it when the pitch cover guy, the blue P up there, is a safety or a corner, because it gives you a little bit more time to make a read here. If you don't know how to do the option, you watch that R guy on the edge. If he stutter steps and waits, you just hit X and hand it off to your fullback here, Prosh, or whoever you put in this formation. But if he runs after Prosh, then don't hit anything and run with the quarterback. And then when that pitch guy comes down, he's most likely coming after the quarterback. And when he does, you pitch it off to Miller. But if he, for some reason, doesn't go after the quarterback, he runs around for the running back, then you just run with the quarterback. And I like, I'm going to run this a couple times to show you when they actually have the read guy and the pitch guy up on the line. That's when I like to audible. He just runs in, get rid of it so my quarterback don't take a hit, and sometimes it ends up like that, but sometimes you can get some pretty big gains on this. Depending how bad they mess up. This is where I like to audible, and I'll show why, because you got to be real quick. As soon as you read the read guy, you got to read the pitch guy, and it's not something I want to do real quick online. Keep switching. That's messed up. So the read guy is just going to come right in, and you see real quick, and a lot of times you have no option. You just run with the quarterback and you're screwed. So what I do is I have an audible here for bootleg, because they're obviously overloading on that side just slightly. So I'll do a play action to that side and just, not a big game. Probably should have thrown it sooner, but I was hoping something bigger would open up. Didn't pitch it in time. Oh, they're loading up on that side. Boom. Barely got rid of that. I couldn't even pitch that if I wanted to. The guy was in between us. It could be easily intercepted. Sometimes I wanted to break a big one to show you. In game, you get a lot of big plays. This one's gonna be big. And I'll show a couple other plays. I know it's going long, but this is something I'm gonna do for fun. I added Wildcat. I was hoping to put Braxton Miller in where Lamar Miller is, but I couldn't. But it still works pretty good. I added this formation in Empty Patriot. I'll show you why I picked this is because you come out with a two. You know how I came out in a single back big, right? So you got 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, and a running back, right? Well, you do that, and then you pick this formation, which has 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, and a running back. So they think you're coming out in a similar formation, but you're actually coming out with 5 wide. So it kind of throws them off. There's a couple of really good plays in this one. The first one is Pat's X-Slant. And you're usually going to come out in a 3-4 because they think you're doing a big or something. But Griffin, you don't usually get a slant to the outside. Every time you hot route a slant, it's over the middle. So you can't get that unless you pick a play like this. And it actually works pretty good because he gets underneath Fedorowicz and Foreman, and a lot of times you can get an easy 5-10 yards because the coverage is pulled back. So he caught the ball 6 yards down the field, ended up picking up 15. It's a nice simple play because even if somebody's covering the flat, they usually get pushed back and he just gets underneath. Just a simple draw the coverage back. Probably should have thrown a little bit sooner. Sometimes I'll put the running back out there like Foreman on a streak or something to better get the cushion. But you can get quick yards with this. Use it like inside the 5 or something because they think you're coming out in a run formation with 2 tight ends and everything. And then you just quickly, boom, touchdown. I think I got an audible. I don't have to switch to next play. This play I like, especially if you get good tight ends. I don't really. But you see how it's a cover 3. So I got Fuller going right in the seam. Griffin coming over the middle. And Fedorowicz, his route is a pretty good man beater where he does the little zig. Same with Hopkins. But this play, there's nothing real special. I just like it as a lot of routes to attack, a lot of different coverages. Oh, he held onto the ball. Way to go, Fuller. I'm going to go audible to that one again. I like to use this one here. Little zig beats that man. Just a nice play. Probably be able to hit Fuller again, but a lot of times you can just wait and you end up getting the tight end who's coming over open. But I like throwing this in. This is actually one of the formations that Bill O'Brien brought into the Patriots playbook. So I was thinking that should be in the Texans playbook, but of course not. But anyway, maybe if they had better tight ends. Show a couple other plays I added in here. I picked this formation because I was trying it out on the Packers playbook. And I like mixing in a read option because having Watson. But I like this play action boot here. I'll show you why. Let's do a random nickel. Fedorowicz usually open constantly, just easy. Oh, actually covered the flat, made me look bad here. Usually you can get him open real easy if you don't get sacked. Just all day. Oh, with that safety blitz, perfect. Holy shit. Colts getting pressure. It's unheard of. And if he's not, you can go to the other side. Just seemed to work real well online. Like always getting somebody open. course, you got to mix in the run. I don't even know if I put a run. I like the counter run and shotgun formations, because most of the runs have the running back running across the line. This is probably not the best formation to do this, because they got the 6 men right up on the line. But a lot of times you can get something pretty big out of a counter, out of the shotgun plays. Because most of the time you're running across the field. Like this play was designed to have the running back go across the line, but then it's a play fake. Oh, I got off the block. Damn. I wanted to run that counter, but they keep setting up to be able to stop it. Shit. I don't think Hooker's a really big hitter. You know what? This might be good for a counter. There's a big space between that linebacker and defensive end. Hopefully there's a nice hole between the two of them, because we're going to let that linebacker in free. And look at that. Beautiful. Got about 8 yards. It's a good audible, especially if you've been running the other way. See, when there's not a big space between them, it doesn't work out so well. I'm going to try it a few more times though. Oh, I hate that. Get pushed back. There, I guess this formation would be perfect for the counter. The 3-3-5 wide. I guess not that time. Gotta mess them up with the play action again. Alright, I'll show a couple other plays here. What else did I add in this? I like this formation too. The only thing I don't like about it is it sets up for a good jump. Like if the guy's using defensive line, which online they're usually not, because every time you motion, every play has that receiver go in motion. It's so that he can't be bumped. It's good for bump and run, and yeah, it's just if somebody's playing defensive line, they know right when the snap is coming. And I don't want to run this play. I put another counter, because most of your runs are going right across. The counter messes that up. Alright, there's no safety, so I'm going to pick this play. And hopefully hit Hopkins as fast as I can for those safeties. Woo! Right call. I just like this formation. All the plays seem to work pretty well. I didn't cut back good enough. I hit the turbo way too quick. Trying to get through that mess. Thought so, huh? As I get some decent runs within this formation. This might be good for a counter. I just didn't get through that hole quick enough. Still got some decent yards, I guess. Oh, just shitty blocking. Alright, we got one safety. Let's see. I don't have... let's do this, and I'll put Miller to attack the seam. Because it looks like a cover 3. And good choice. Oh, I dropped it. Man, I couldn't cut up.
Set. Green 39. Green 39.
Probably hold the turbo down too hard.
Now let's go. Blue 90.
Make my own counter. Did not work. Looked like they way over pursued, but I was able to cut back pretty well.
Here we go now. Blue 90. Over. Here we go now. Green. Let's go. Green 39.
Man, if he could hold that block just a second longer, I would have been able to shoot a hole.
39.
Alright, this is the one that works good. Right in that gap.
Now let's go.
Perfect again. Damn it.
Alright, here we go. Blue 90. Blue 90. Alright, now look up 56. Green 39. Green.
Yeah, this video is pretty much done. I'm just having fun and not shutting off the share play. Okay, not too much fun.
Now let's go. Blue 90. Blue 90.
Check my shotgun formation again. I think that's all I really added to the shotgun formation. I don't think I added anything to the eye form, weak eye or strong eye. Why did I add the Wildcat? I really like it. It would be good if I could put Braxton into where Miller is, because he actually has decent quarterback stats, so I could run or throw. But I do like
Let's go. White 90.
the Wildcat. The only thing is that I don't like is that you can't audible.
Come on, let's go. White 90.
Like, they're overloaded on this side. I probably won't want to run to that side.
Let's go.
So it's like, you know what? I want to audible, but you can't. Really?
Come on, let's
I
go.
just
Red 38.
have to pick another play. Like, the pass play would be badass if I was able to put Braxton in there, because I can run with him,
Come on, let's go.
which they're assuming I'm going to do, which should allow
90.
a lot of cool shit to happen downfield. Other than when you have a running back, you're not going to throw that well. Oh, Fedorowicz was wide.
Come on, let's go. White 90.
He's so badass to be able to use Braxton here.
Let's go.
That threaded running pass.
White 90.
I would have been able to throw that a little bit more outside.
Here we go. White 90.
I guess the short passes you can do okay.
Here we go. Red 38.
Can't wait to use him in the next Madden.
Red
We get
38.
a little bit of a thundering punch to mix with Lamar there. Oh. Alright. Well, I'm gonna cut this off here. I already made it 40 minutes. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.